and welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I've got some super easy fall DIYs to share with you that I think you're really going to enjoy. One of them is a high-end dupe using some Dollar Tree products. And I'm going to show you how to transfer an image onto wood that is super simple. And I'll share my graphic with you in the description below. So if you want how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. For this first project, I'm going to start with a 1x2 piece of wood, and I'm going to cut 6 6-inch lengths, and I'm going to cut one 7.5-inch length. And I'm going to make 2 of these with this one piece of board. And you get this wood at Lowe's. It runs $1.47, so it is a real budget-friendly project. You get all your boards cut, go ahead and glue them together, and I'm just using regular wood glue, and I'm just coming down the center of this a little bit. I'm not going to add so much that it oozes out, so just kind of do like a little zigzag, and then just go ahead and put them together. And then we're going to clamp them here in a minute too. And I did leave that little knot facing forward. I thought it really gave it a little bit more character. And then go ahead and clamp them. And you want to do it at the top and the bottom. Just make sure that the bottom is even. And then go ahead and get any glue that's oozing out off of it at this point. I'm going to take a sander and I'm just going to round my edges on the side. Just kind of twist it around there like I'm doing. Kind of move it around without holding it in one place, and it'll make a nice curve. See how good that looks? And I'm going to do that to both sides, and I'm going to do it to the bottom as well. If you have one of these belt sanders, it works really good. It'll also work good with a palm sander. But you do want to kind of move it as you're going. And then I'm going to take a palm sander and I'm just going to sand the face of it. This is a way, if you add any glue on it, you can get it off, because you do want to get any glue off of it because glue will not stain. So make sure that you do sand down those areas that have glue on them. Did the same thing. I curved the stem up a little bit too. Just go right around it and curve it up too. See how good that looks? I'm going to stain these with a dark walnut stain, and I'm just using a regular cotton rag to do that. And when I'm staining, I put quite a bit of stain on here, and then I just wipe off the excess. It doesn't get absorbed into the wood. And I'm only doing one coat on these. Then I'm going to use these little leaves that I got at Hobby Lobby. If you watched my Hobby Lobby haul last week, these are the wooden ones I was talking about. These are really pretty, and I'm going to stain those with a different color. I'm just going to use like a special walnut. It's a little bit lighter than the dark walnut, but it'll give a little bit more contrast. And I'm just going to do the fronts and the backs. The sides I'm not going to do because they already have a pretty brown burnt edge to them, but just get them stained real well. Okay, I'm taking what's left of a sticker page. It's got a shiny surface to it. If you don't have this, you can do the same process with wax paper. Just cut it to 8.5 by 11 to go into your printer. And I just printed a pattern. I'll give you that in the description below. You can download it and print it too. But don't touch the paper with your hand because the ink is very wet and it will smear. So try to just kind of cut these apart without touching them. And we're going to transfer this onto our wood. I tried to tear it a little bit there, but I think I was going to tear my pattern, so I went ahead and finished cutting it. Just don't touch it with your fingers because it will smear. And then I'm just going to lay it right on top of my pumpkin. And you want to make sure that you don't move it once you get there. Go ahead and trim it out. I started to do it the other way, but I decided to trim it out so I can kind of see a little bit better where I'm putting this. And then just lay it down. If you can go ahead and have some tape ready to tape it, it makes it a little bit easier as well. I didn't do it on this one, but I did do it on the second one. Just kind of lay it down lightly, hold it in place, and then I'm going to use a brayer to roll this on. You can actually just use a credit card if you want to do it with it, but just kind of keep it in one place. I did move mine just a little bit there, but it didn't end up messing it up too bad. And if you do this on a lighter surface, it looks a little bit prettier. So you can still see the pattern. I just kind of wanted like a rustic look for this. But you could actually paint it white if you wanted to and put it on there. It looks so pretty. I may do that in some projects coming up. But then I did end up taping this one because I didn't want to move it. And that's probably the best way to do it. But this is a great way to transfer a pattern onto something. You could transfer it onto canvas. You could transfer it onto wood, anything. And I'll show you how clear this one came out. My wood was a little bit lighter on this one, so it did come out a little bit more clear. And you will want to Mod Podge over the top of this when you're done because that ink is still wet. You do want to Mod Podge to make it stay in place. But look how pretty that is. And I'm just going to attach my leaves to the top. I'm going to kind of offset them a little bit. Okay, then to dress it up a little bit, I'm just going to add a little raffia to the top part. I just took it and tied it in a knot, and then I'm just going to glue it right to the top. For the second one, I did exactly the same thing, but I put my leaves both forward. Okay, I really like the way that these turned out. They're super simple and they're very inexpensive to make. I think these turned out really pretty. They're just something simple, and the transfer of the image onto the piece of wood with the little wax paper is so simple. Second project, I'm going to use some white satin paint. You could use a primer, and I'm going to paint 3 small mason jars. And I'm going to paint one of them orange, one of them a burgundy, and one of them a moss green. Now, I mixed a little bit of brown with my orange here to kind of make it a little bit deeper. But on the second coat, I just went back with the solid orange. So just go solid orange. Don't mix this up together. And then I'm just taking a sponge to sponge this on with, and then I'm going to take a sponge paintbrush to paint into the grooves of the lid. And I'm going to paint the entire thing a color. And if you don't want to use the primer or the white paint first, you can do it with just doing it this way here, but you will have to use more paint. And then you can get in the crevices a little bit easier if you use a little sponge paintbrush. And then I'm using an embossing gun just to kind of dry it up between times so I can paint again quicker. And then this is where I came back with just the orange, and I think it was a little prettier. And we're just making some little farmhouse style pumpkins. I also did one in moss green, and then I also did one in burgundy as well. Now these paints are just Waverly chalk paint, and you can get these at Walmart. But they went on real well. And then the burgundy took a couple extra coats because it had a little bit of pink hue to it, but it did darken up nicely. For all my jars dried, I'm using a folk art crackle medium, and I'm just using a sponge brush to apply it, and I'm just coming down from the ledge down, and I'm going to put a pretty good bit of this on it. You don't want to put just a light coat on this. You want to go ahead and put a heavy coat on this because the heavier you do it, the more crackle you will get. And I'm going to do this to all 3 of my jars, and then you need to set them aside and let them dry for about an hour. I ended up having to let mine dry for about an hour and a half. And I'm doing the same thing to the other 2 jars. But that's completely dried. I'm just going to come from the top down, and I'm just going to do a light coat of paint all the way around. Now this is going to start to crackle as soon as you start putting this on there, and it'll get a little bit heavier. So try not to go over sections that you've just done because you don't want to paint over your crackle. Just kind of keep going until you get it all painted in. And it's going to start crackling pretty good. Just kind of move in quick, even strokes. Just kind of keep going around, but don't overlap. And then just set that aside and it'll crack even more. And then I'm going to do exactly the same method with the orange one and the purple one. And just kind of quickly move through this. And if you like the farmhouse look, this really did work well. You can kind of see the orange kind of through this. I really like the way that this one turned out. And I'm just going to take a chip brush and I'm going to just lightly put on some paint on the sides. Just kind of rub it off onto your paper towel and then just go ahead and go over the top a little bit just to kind of distress that up as well. I got these stems at Hobby Lobby and I'm just going to glue one onto the top of each one of these jars. Then I'm just going to add a fall leaf to the top of each one of these. And I'm cutting the stem off on these. That way it'll be flush right up there next to that stick. And I'm putting the same color on all three of these. Then I'm just going to go ahead and take some more of that raffia I used in the previous project, and I'm just going to tie it right around the neck of each one of these jars. Okay, I really like using mason jars for some fall decor, and then when Christmas comes, you could actually just sand that off and repurpose it for Christmas. And then I'm just going to go ahead and trim off the sides. Pretty easy. Let me know what you think. I really like the way these turned out. You could use any kind of jar. You could use an old mayonnaise jar or old spaghetti jar. Any kind of jar would work with these, and they turned out so pretty. Let me know what you think in the comments. What's your favorite today? Okay, this one was inspired by a Grandin Road decor piece that I thought was really pretty. This next one, I'm going to take a planter and I'm going to take some black chalk paint and I'm going to spray paint the sides. Now I'm just going to lightly spray paint the sides. I just want enough to get on there so I can put some chalk on it. And then just let that dry real well. And to give it a chalky finish, I'm just coming in here with a piece of chalk and I'm just going to scribble all over this. And then I'm just going to wipe it off with a rag and I'm going to continue to do it till I kind of have like a haze look to this. Kind of like a little old chalkboard at school where it doesn't come clean anymore. It's got a nice haze to it. But this just kind of distressed it up just a little bit. Didn't make it so plasticky looking. And then I'm doing all the sides on this. And it looks like I'm rubbing hard, but I'm kind of rubbing lightly because I don't want to take it all off. But it does end up making, you know, a nice kind of a gray hue to it. It's a little bit more muted. And that's the difference between the two. And I'm just rubbing my chalk onto some paper. It kind of makes it a little bit looser and kind of makes it a little bit dissolved a little bit. And it makes it a little bit easier to get that look. Then I'm just going to spray it with a clear matte sealer. This is just clear and I'm just going to spray it on there to kind of keep it in place. Otherwise it will eventually wipe off, so you do want to go ahead and set it. And then while it's a little bit tacky, I'm just taking my rag that has all that chalk in it and I'm just kind of dabbing it onto each side. Okay, then there's a ledge in here right at the top. I'm going to cut my pool noodles till they are at the top part of that ledge because I'm going to put a piece of foam core board in here to put my project on. And I ended up using 2 pool noodles and it was just plenty to fill that up. And I'm just cutting them all to the same length. And then I'm just going to put them inside. I'm not going to glue them or anything. This is just going to give it enough space so that when I put my foam core board, it will be touching the top of those noodles. And it won't go all the way down into the container. And then I'm just taking a piece of foam core board and I'm cutting it. My opening on my flower pot was 12.5 by 12.5. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut a piece of foam core board, the 12.5 by 12.5 to slide down into the center. And I'm just using the X-Acto knife just to cut this. It doesn't have to be perfect, even it can be rough, it doesn't matter. But you just want to make sure that it fits down in your container and it is snug where it won't come out. And if you live in a place where it's real windy, you might want to put some rocks in the bottom of your flower pot first. Okay, then I'm using 2 of the Dollar Tree pumpkin frames and I'm going to go ahead and put them together with a pool noodle down at the bottom to hold them up. I'm just going to kind of sandwich them in between a piece of pool noodle. So cut it to length and then we're going to start going ahead and putting some zip ties in it to hold it together. And I'm using 3 zip ties along the bottom. And I'm not going to tighten it up first right now. I'm just going to go ahead and put them on here because I want to go ahead and put the pumpkins down below the pool noodle on both sides. So it'll stand below it like that. And then you can go ahead and tighten your zip ties. And then just go ahead and cut those edges off. I'm going to go ahead and place it on the diagonal in my flower pot, and I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to poke a hole on both sides right where the wires are in 2 spots. And I'm going to come back in and add some more here in a little bit, but I'll take it out and show you what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and cut a hole, 2 holes next to each other, and that's what we're going to run through the wires. You're just going to run your zip tie from the bottom up through one of the holes in each location. And then go ahead and pull them straight up. And then we're going to glue our noodle onto this board at a diagonal. And then we're going to run those straps over those rods back through the other hole that we poked. And put plenty of glue because you want to make sure that this does stay while you're getting it put together. And I would sit there and hold that until it dries completely. Okay, once it's completely dry, then go ahead and take your strap, wrap it over one of those wires, and then back down through the other hole that's in the bottom next to that one. And I decided to come back in and put a zip tie at the top as well. But just kind of run it through the hole that you poked next to that other one, but go ahead and run it over one of the metal wires. And this will stand up real well. Just make sure that when you do run it through there and then you run it through your zip tie that you do pull that as tight as you can, and that way that will stay standing up. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a zip tie right around the top part here just to hold this top part together. And then I'm going to run my zip tie down the side. Okay, after you've pulled all those super tight, then just go ahead and trim those off. And then just go put it back in your planner and push it all the way down till it is solid in there and doesn't move. I got this garland on Amazon. You get 2 of these. I'll give you the link for those in the description below. And just go ahead and completely fill this up. And then run some through the wires so that you can completely cover up the black base that you put in there too. Now it will take both of these garlands to do this. And they were pretty inexpensive. But just kind of spend some time making sure that you get your noodle completely covered up and you get the black board covered up as well. And we're not gluing this in, we're just pushing it in there. It'll stay in there just nicely. But it does give it a really full look. See how pretty that is? And then I got these little pumpkins at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put one on each side of the pumpkin, and then I'm going to put one right into the center. And that was pretty easy. This was a pretty easy craft, and it really looks pretty. Just a super simple piece, and it's so colorful on your front porch. I would add some maybe more pine cones to it, or maybe even some taller pumpkins. If you like these videos today, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome. Have a great weekend.